Hello everyone. Welcome to the lecture of non-linear programming problem, that is NLPP. In linear programming problem, we have seen simplex method, dual simplex method, big M method and duality principle. Okay, in all those methods, we have objective function expressed in terms of x1 and x2 or x3, okay, whose power was 1, and that's why it is called as linear programming problem. Now, when we say non-linear, so it comes to an optimization problem in which objective function z or some of the constants are non-linear. That's why the powers of x1 and x2 are more than 1. It is called NLPP. Now, there are three types of NLPP: that optimize NLPP with no constraints, then optimize NLPP with equality constraints. It is also called as Lagrange's method. And we have third type, that is NLPP with inequality constraints, and we have one method to solve there, that is Kuhn-Tucker conditions. Okay, today we are going to see the Lagrange's method and Kuhn-Tucker conditions, that is type 2 and type 3. So very first type is when equality constant. So method name is Lagrange's method. Let's see what is the working rule to solve via Lagrange's method. So we have one constant explained here. Working rule is let z be the objective function and denote given constant by small h. Okay, then denote capital L with this combination z minus lambda h, where lambda is eigenvalue. So capital L stands for Lagrange's, so L equal to z minus lambda h. Now this equation should be differentiated partially three times: first with respect to x1, second with respect to x2, third with respect to lambda, and equate them to 0. You'll get three equations in x1, x2 or lambda. Okay, if we solve them simultaneously, we get values of those variables. Okay, so at x1 and x2 we get a point denoted by x0 or x0. Okay, at this point we have to decide whether function has maxima or minima. So we have one method to decide whether z has maxima minima. At this point we have to find out the determinant del equal to this. It's a 3 by 3 determinant. First row and first column are same, that is 0, partial derivative of h with respect to x1, partial derivative of h with respect to x2, and same thing in a first column where h is a constant. Okay, and then rest of the elements are nothing but the double derivative with respect to x1 and x2. So this element is partial derivative of L 2 times with respect to x1. This is nothing but first derivative with respect to x2 and then x1. This term is partial derivative of L with respect to x1 and then x2, and this is both the derivatives with respect to x2. So once we fill this determinant, we get some constant answer. Now that constant answer may be 0, may be positive or negative. So if that delta value is 0, then we say that the nature of function is not known. If that del value is negative, then we have z function minimum at point x0. Then we find out by putting those values of x1 and x2 in z function. And if that delta value greater than 0, we have x0 maxima and we find out corresponding z max. So very simple technique to decide whether function is maximum or minimum at some point. Here we have some examples to fix the concept. Here is first example. Using the method of Lagrange's multiplier, solve the following NLPP. Optimize z equal to 6x1 square plus 5x2 square. See here friends, we can see x1 and x2 are squared and that's why they are non-linear. Subject to x1 plus 5x2 equal to 7. So this is nothing but the one constant which is of equality type, and hence the method name is Lagrange's. If it is inequality, we have another method to solve, that is Kuhn-Tucker conditions. Let's go through Lagrange's method. We have capital L equal to z minus lambda h, where z is objective function and h is the constant taken by taking 7 on left side. So we have L minus lambda h here. We find out three derivatives. Derivative of L with respect to x1 partially, we get 12x1 minus lambda equal to 0. So if we simplify, we get x1 equal to lambda by 12, so in terms of lambda. Similarly, dou L upon dou x2 gives us x2 in terms of lambda. Okay. When we differentiate L with respect to lambda, we get first term 0 minus bracket is constant for lambda outside and derivative of lambda with respect to lambda is 1. So we get only x1 plus 5x2 equal to 7, which was our H condition. Okay, so this equation contains x1 and x2 only, and we have x1 and x2 in terms of lambda. So if you put these values here, we get lambda values. Once we get lambda value, we can obtain actual x1 and x2. So we get it as 7 by 31 and 42 by 31 respectively. So the corresponding point is x0 at 7 by 31, 42 by 31. Now we have to decide whether function is maximum or minimum at this point. So we have delta value. Delta value is a determinant of these values. So let's calculate dou h upon dou x1, dou h upon dou x2. Since h is the condition written here, this is also h. So with respect to x1, derivative is 1. With respect to x2, derivative is 5. That's why 0, 1, 5 and 0, 1, 5. Okay. Now derivative of L with respect to x1 2 times. If you see students, here we have taken already derivative of L with respect to x1. So if we differentiate one more time with respect to x1, we get 12 here. So 12 here. Now dou 2L upon dou x1 and dou x2 gives us first derivative is with respect to x2, second with respect to x1. So here we have already derivative of L with respect to x2. Now if we differentiate it with respect to x1, as there is no x1 term, it gives us 0. That's why 0 here. Similarly for this constant, we have dou 2L upon dou x2, dou x1. So first with respect to x1 and then with respect to x2. So first with respect to x1 is already taken here, 12x1 minus lambda. If we differentiate this with respect to x2, we get 0 as there is no x2 term. That's why here also we have 0. Now the last term is derivative of L 2 times with respect to x2. It's a partial derivative. So dou L upon dou x2 one time is here 10 x2 minus 5 lambda. One more time differentiate with respect to x2, we get 10 here. That's why 10. So we know how to find out determinant value. It comes to minus 310, and since it is negative, we have x0 minima. Okay, so we find out z minima at these two values, that is x1 equal to 7 by 31, x2 equal to 42 by 31. If we put these values into objective function, we get corresponding z value as 294 upon 31, which is z minimum. One more example we will see on the same line. Optimize z equal to 3x1 square plus x2 plus 2x1 x2 plus 6x1 plus 2x2 subject to the condition. This is equality constant. So this is the value of h and this is the z. Using this, we have L as z minus lambda h. Therefore, if we differentiate L with respect to x1, we get 6x1 plus 0 plus 2x2 plus 6 plus 0 and minus 2 lambda x1. If we differentiate with respect to x1, we get only minus 2 lambda here equal to 0. All other terms are constant with respect to x1. So while doing partial derivative, we have to treat all other variables constant if they are there. Similarly, with respect to x2, x1 and lambda are constant. That's why with respect to x2, we get a 2x2 here, 2x1 here, then 2 here, and minus lambda into x2's derivative is minus lambda. So here equal to 0. Denote them by equation 1 and 2. Third derivative of this L with respect to lambda. It gives us first term fully 0 as it is free from lambda, and minus bracket term is constant with respect to lambda, and only lambda's derivative with respect to lambda is 1. That's why only bracket term is 0 equal to 0. So it gives us here 2x1 plus x2 equal to 4. Call it equation number 3. Now to find out x1 and x2 value, we have equation number 3 already in x1 and x2. If we are able to find out one more equation in x1 and x2, we can solve them simultaneously to get the corresponding point. So here is equation 1 and 2. If we eliminate lambda from these two equations, we get resultant equation in x1 and x2. So what we did, we multiplied second equation by 2 and we subtracted that new equation from equation 1. So here is that equation 1 minus 2 times equation 2 gives us 2x1 minus 2x2 plus 2. That is 6x1 minus 2 times 2x1, that is 4x1, gives us 2x1. Then 2x2 minus 4x2 is minus 2x2, and 6 minus 4 is plus 2 equal to 0, 2 lambda, and 2 lambda is cancelled. Okay? So after cancelling 2 or shifting 2 on second side, we get x1 minus x2 equal to minus 1, a simplified form of that equation. Call it equation 4. So we have equation 3 and 4 in terms of x1 and x2. Again, we can solve them for the values of x1 and x2. If we solve them in this way, we get x1 as 1 and x2 as 2. Okay, so we get a point 1 comma 2. Using these values, we put in any equation, either 1 or 2, we get lambda value 8. I repeat, we have equation 1 here and equation 2 here. Put these values of x1 and x2 in any of these two equations, we get lambda equal to 4. Lambda equal to 4. So point is 1 comma 2. To decide now whether function has maxima or minima at this point, we have del calculation. Determinant of this is nothing but 0. You can see derivative of h with respect to x1. So here is the h value. H is nothing but 2x1 plus x2 equal to 4. So differentiate this with respect to x1 gives us 2. So here, and differentiate this with respect to x2 gives us 1 here. That's why 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Similarly, for other constants, derivative of L with respect to x1 2 times. Equation 1 is already derivative of L with respect to x1. So if we differentiate one more time with respect to x1, we get 6 here. And if we differentiate same with respect to x2, we get 2 here. Similarly, second equation with respect to x1 gives us 2 here, and second equation with respect to x2 gives us 2 here. Okay, so if we solve this determinant, we get minus 6, again negative value for del. Therefore, x0 is a minima, or z has minimum value at this point 1 comma 2. So if we put these values of x1 and x2 in objective function, we get corresponding z value 21. Now next move to next type, that is NLPP, non-linear programming problem with inequality constraints. In previous two examples, we have seen equality constraints and the Lagrange's method was used. Here in inequality constraint, we have Kuhn-Tucker conditions to solve such problems. Okay. Now there are two types again, one inequality constraint and two inequality constraints. So in this lecture, we'll be addressing one equality constraints. Okay. So in one equality constraint, we have 6 conditions called as Kuhn-Tucker conditions. Now with the help of example, we'll see which are those conditions. So solve, maximize z equal to 10x1 plus 4x2 minus 2x1 square minus x2 square. So since x1 square x2 square, this is NLPP. Subject to the inequality, that is constraint 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5. Since only one constraint, we have 6 condition of Kuhn-Tucker conditions. Okay, where x1 and x2 are non-negative. So as usual in Lagrange's method, we denote here the function f minus lambda h by k. We were denoting that function by L, and here it is by k. K stands for Kuhn-Tucker. So k equal to f minus lambda h, where f is nothing but this z, that is objective function, and h is our usual condition. So shift this 5 to left side and make it h. Okay, so k we get z minus lambda h. So these are the conditions. First three conditions are partial differentiation of k with respect to x1, and if we equate it to 0, we get one equation from this k, that is 10 minus 4x1 minus 2 lambda equal to 0. Call it 1. Similarly, with respect to x2, if we equate it to 0, we get another equation in x2 and lambda, 4 minus 2x2 minus lambda equal to 0. This is equation 2. Now third equation is lambda into h is equal to 0, that is lambda into this condition equal to 0. Now third constraint gives us two cases, that is either lambda 0 and this bracket 0. Okay, so these two cases will be solving in detail. Fourth condition is h less than or equal to 0, that is constraint as it is, that is 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5 we get, call it equation 4. And then x1 x2 should be non-negative, a condition called fifth condition, and lambda should be 0 or positive, it is called sixth condition. So these 6 conditions are nothing but Kuhn-Tucker's 6th condition only, and this example is of maximization, that's why 6th condition is lambda greater than or equal to 0. So this is the only difference. If question is of minimization, this lambda should be negative. Okay, so sixth condition will be replaced by lambda less than 0 if question is of minimization. All other elements, all other conditions are same as in maximization. So let's start with, now we know from 3 we just had a discussion that either lambda 0 or this bracket equal to 0. So take first case, that if lambda equal to 0, what happens? So if lambda is equal to 0, we put this lambda equal to 0 in equation number 1 and 2. So we get x1 and x2 values from 1 and 2 respectively, and that is 5 by 2 and 2. So we get x1, x2 values which are positive. So fifth condition is satisfied. We have taken lambda equal to 0. That's why sixth condition is also satisfied, because sixth condition says lambda is either 0 or positive. Okay, then we got these two values x1 and x2 from equation 1 and 2. So obviously equation 1 and 2 are also satisfied. Now from equation 3 we have taken this case, so equation 3 is also satisfied. So conditions 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6 are satisfied. So fourth condition says 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5. So let's check for these values of x1 and x2. So put x1 as 5 by 2 here, so it's 5, and x2 is 2, that is a 7. So we get 7 less than or equal to 5, which is absurd. So fourth condition is not satisfied by these two values of x1 and x2. That's why we reject this case. So out of these two cases, we have first case lambda equal to 0, and that is rejected. So let's have second case, that this 2x1 plus x2 minus 5 equal to 0, that is case 2, 2x1 plus x2 equal to 5. Call it equation 1 because this is the equation in x1 x2 already. If we have one more equation in x1 and x2, we are done. We can solve it for x1 and x2 values. So we have equation 1 and 2 in x1, x2 and lambda. So if we remove lambda, if you eliminate lambda from these two equations, we get resultant equation in x1 and x2. So we multiply second equation by 2, so that we get minus 2 lambda and minus 2 lambda. If we subtract them, we get lambda removal and we get another equation in x1 and x2. If we do so, we get that resultant equation as 2x1 minus 2x2 equal to 1. Call it equation B. So equation A and B are in x1 and x2. If we solve them simultaneously, we get simply x1 as 11 by 6 and x2 as 4 by 3. Again, we check the condition for these two new values of x1 and x2. As they are positive, we have fifth condition satisfied. For this x1 and x2, we find out lambda from either equation 1 or equation 2. So this is the equation 1. If you put corresponding x1 value here, we get lambda as 4 by 3. Even if you put in equation 2, we get the same value. So if lambda equal to 4 by 3, it is satisfying the condition greater than or equal to 0. So condition 5th and 6th are satisfied. We get equation B from equation 1 and 2. That's why 1 and 2 are also satisfied. From equation 3, we have taken this case, that's why equation 3 is also satisfied. And if we put these values of x1 and x2 into equation 4, we get the satisfaction of equation 4 as well. Those values is equal to 2x1 plus x2. So 2x1 gives us 22 by 6 and x2 is 4 by 3. So if we get 22 plus 8, 30 by 6, which is 5. So we get 5 less than or equal to 5. That's why condition 4 is also satisfied. So this pair of x1 and x2 satisfies all the conditions given. That's why we are at optimal solution, and which is x1 equal to 11 by 6 and x2 equal to 4 by 3. Therefore, we find out z maximum value at these two x1 and x2, and if you put these values in objective function, we get corresponding z max as 91 by 6. So here, if there is one inequality constraint, we have 6 conditions to satisfy. These 6 conditions are called Kuhn-Tucker conditions, and these 6 conditions are nothing but write k first as f minus lambda h, then differentiate k with respect to x1, equate it to 0 as equation 1, differentiate k with respect to x2, equate it to 0 as equation 2, lambda into h is equal to 0 gives us 2 cases to be solved, call it equation 3, then h less than or equal to 0, which is constant itself, which is equation 4, x1 and x2 should be non-negative, condition number 5, and lambda should be non-negative, condition number 6. If this is the example of maximization, we have 6 condition this way. If objective function is of minimization, we have 6 condition as lambda strictly less than 0. Let's see one more example on this. Maximize z equal to 2x1 square minus 7x2 square minus 16x1 plus 2x2 plus 12x1 x2 plus 7 subject to the constraint 2x1 plus 5x2 less than or equal to 105. You can see here constraint is linear but objective function is non-linear. That's why this is an LPP. Now let k is equal to f minus lambda h. So here is k minus here is lambda into h. So we differentiate k with respect to x1. It gives us 4x1. This is 0 because it contains no x1. Then minus 16 here. Then 12x1 x2's derivative is a 12x2. And if you open the bracket, we get minus 2 lambda x1. Its derivative is minus 2 lambda only. Rest of the elements contains no x1. That's why their derivative is 0. Similarly, equation number 2 can be obtained if we differentiate k with respect to x2. Now lambda into h is equal to 0 is equation 3. H less than or equal to 0, that is constant itself, is equation number 4. X1 and x2 should be 0 or positive, equation number 5, and lambda should be non-negative, that is equation number 6. Again we start with equation number 3, which gives us two cases, either lambda 0 or this bracket term is 0. So we start with case 1, let lambda equal to 0. So once we have lambda equal to 0, equation 1 and 2 reduces to equation in x1 and x2 only. So we get these two equations from 1 and 2 respectively. So if we solve them simultaneously, we get here it is x1 equal to 1 and x2 equal to 1. Consider y as x2 and x as x1. With these two values, if you see lambda equal to 0, x1 and x2 values are positive. So fifth and sixth condition satisfied. We have obtained them from equation 1 and 2. So obviously 1 and 2 are also satisfied. We are solving this case from equation number 3. So 3 is also satisfied. Only equation number 4 to be checked. So we put x1 and y1 as 1 1 here. So we get 2 plus 5, which is 7, and 7 is less than or equal to 105. So here we can see fourth condition is also satisfied. So we put these x1 and x2 values as 1 1 into objective function. But what happens? We get, after putting x1 as 1 and x2 as 1 into z, we get z equal to 0. But our intention was to maximize z. That's why we got z equal to 0. This is the contradiction. That's why we reject this case. So we have case 2, that 2x1 plus 5x2 is equal to 105. So here call it equation number A because it contains x1 and x2. If we are able to find out one more equation in x1 and x2, we can solve them simultaneously. So we have equation 1 and 2 for the same. They are in terms of lambda. If we eliminate lambda here, we get resultant equation in x1 and x2. So what we do? We multiply equation 1 by 5 and we multiply equation 2 by 2. So we get minus 10 lambda and minus 10 lambda here. If we subtract them, we get removal of lambda and other elements accordingly. So doing so, we get resultant equation as minus x1 plus 22x2 equal to 21. Call it equation B. So if we solve A and B simultaneously, we get x1 value 45 and x2 value 3. Both are positive. So fifth condition is satisfied. For these x1 and x2, if you put them into equation 1 or 2, we get corresponding lambda value 100. I have substituted it into equation number 1. So we got lambda equal to 100, which is also positive. So sixth condition is also satisfied. So equation 1 and 2 we solved, so they are satisfied. Equation 3 case we are solving, so it is also satisfied. Equation number 5 and 6 are also satisfied as all values are positive. Only equation number 4 to be checked. So let's see, x1 is 45 and x2 is equal to 3 in fourth condition. So x1 is 45, that's why this is 90, and x2 is 3, that's why this is 15. So 90 plus 15 is 105, and that 105 is less than or equal to 105, and which is true. That's why fourth condition is also satisfied. Since all conditions are satisfied here, we have optimality. That's why at this value Z max is 4900 as Z max at x1 equal to 45 and x2 is equal to 3. This way we find solution of given NLPP through Kuhn-Tucker conditions, and it contained only one inequality constraint. In next lecture we'll be having Kuhn-Tucker conditions with two inequality constraints. Thank you.